Chapter 5. Piper. I'm not crazy. I'm really not, normally. But though I know Patrick is right and I should put Ian out of my mind, I find it much harder to actually do. The rational part of me knows he is either cheating on me or at the very least silently breaking up with me. But the emotional part keeps second-guessing that. What if it really is a friend? What if something happened this week in his family that he's dealing with, and he just hasn't had time to respond? It is for these reasons that I find myself exiting the neighborhood slowly. So slowly, in fact, that I hear a door open behind me. Ducking quickly behind another tree, I peek around and see Ian walking back toward town with some woman. A pretty blonde woman with shapely hips and designer clothes. So, not like me at all. This is obviously the new woman he's seen, but they aren't touching. They aren't holding hands. She doesn't have her arm linked through his, so it could be something innocent, right? Which is why I find myself following them. I stay far enough behind that if they do turn, Ian probably wouldn't immediately recognize me. And I make sure I stay close to one side so I can duck behind a building quickly if I have to. But I'm still following them. I'm not proud of myself, but I appease my unease with the rationalization that my emotional side needs this. It needs to see the cheating in action. It needs the confirmation so it can fully move on. They enter a small cafe, and I realize I'm stuck. I can't just walk in the front door because they would see me, and I can't very well wait outside either because I still might be seen. But more than that, I would draw attention to myself. Attention I definitely don't want. But perhaps there's a back entrance. Some restaurants have one by the kitchen, so it's easier to load and unload things. So I head for the back of the building. Sure enough, there is a door, but it's locked, which leaves me with 3 choices. I can go home and try to forget about all of this, though that is easier said than done sometimes, especially with my analytical mind. I can wait for someone to come out of the kitchen, though that would require either sneaking in quickly or coming up with some reason they should let me in, both of which have a high probability of failure. Or I could do option 3. Option 3 is ludicrous, and I can't even believe I'm considering it, but there is a small window above the dumpster. I imagine it leads into the bathroom, and if I can get in there, then maybe I can sneak into a table at the far back and hide behind a menu while I check out the scene. Though I'm having to estimate, I run through the calculations and decide that I'm probably thin enough that I can get through, if I can get it open from the outside. Glancing around quickly to make sure no one is watching my crazy behavior, I begin to climb the dumpster. It is harder than it looks because the only thing to use as a step up is the small piece of metal that the truck uses to lift the dumpster when it empties it. Once again, I marvel at how much stronger I am than I thought, though I am sweaty and worn out by the time I get to the top of the dumpster. Also, I wish I'd had gloves because my hands now have both a discoloration and a sticky substance that I can't identify. But that is beside the point. The window is old, but that works in my favor as I'm able to dig my fingers under the bottom enough to get it to lift up slightly. Realizing this could go quite badly if the window shuts on my fingers, I nevertheless continue to pull it open. When it's open as much as I think it will go, I pull my phone from my pocket so it doesn't catch as I'm trying to wiggle inside, place it gently between my lips, and hoist myself up. My arms are going to be killing me tomorrow, but at least Charlie will be proud of me. and I'll finally be able to put my mind at ease. With my head and shoulders inside the window, I glance around. It is indeed the bathroom, and thankfully it appears empty. I wiggle a little more and place my hands on the wall beneath me to help push, but suddenly I realize I've made a miscalculation. A giant miscalculation. One that I can only explain by my insane fixation on having to see Ian's cheating in person. I might have been able to fit through the window, but I've forgotten about the bag on my back, and my laptop has hit the outer side of the wall and pushed up instead of down so that I can't move any further. I also can't seem to move backward out of the window as my feet are now dangling in the air, and I feel as if I'm going to be cut in half from the windowsill digging into my stomach and the bottom of my laptop doing the same to my back. Oh, crud. Why couldn't I just let it go? I should have just accepted that Ian was through with me and moved on. But no, I needed proof, and now I'm stuck in the bathroom window of a small cafe, and someone is undoubtedly going to find me soon. And probably call the cops. Oh, double crud. All my dreams of owning a successful business or working high up in one go flying out the window. Oh, the irony. Because who wants to work for or promote a convicted felon? Although, is this a felony? I guess it could be considered breaking and entering, though I had no intention of stealing anything. My phone vibrates in my mouth, and I extract and then answer it, grateful that I can at least do this much. Hello? I keep my voice quiet because I have no idea if the people in the cafe can hear me, though I hope not, because that would mean they would hear all bathroom noises, and no one wants that while they eat. Piper, why are you whispering? Oh, thank heavens, it's Charlie. She will know what to do. Charlie, you've got to come help me. Help you with what? I just needed to know what you were planning for dinner so I can balance my macros. Dinner. Right. It's my night to make dinner for everyone. Of course, I haven't thought about dinner, and I won't be cooking anything if I can't get out of this window. Charlie, I'm stuck in a window, and I need you to come get me out. A window? At the apartment? How did you get stuck in a window? What were you doing? No, not at the apartment. I cringe. I can't believe I'm having to say this. I'm at the French cafe, stuck in their back window, and I need help getting down. Do I even want to know? She asks, her tone shifting from worry to resignation. It's the tone she usually uses with Belle, and I hate that she's using it with me. I'll tell you everything when you get here, but please hurry. I'd rather not be found by anyone else in this position. Charlie chuckles slightly. Probably something you should have thought about before getting yourself stuck in a window. Give me 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Can't you be any faster? In my head, I am quickly trying to calculate the odds of no one using the bathroom for another 10 minutes. It is a small cafe, so there are few patrons, but it's also lunchtime, and people generally wash their hands before eating. I'd say my odds are about 50-50 at this point. Not without the power of teleportation, Charlie says, so just hang tight. She laughs at her own joke, and then the line goes dead. I want to scream in frustration, but that really would draw attention to myself. Plus, Charlie is on her way, so the only thing I can do now is just pray that no one opens that door. I am not that lucky. Evidently, God has a sense of humor today because the door opens and a woman walks in. I immediately hold my breath and then realize that's a terrible idea because it will make more noise when I let the breath out and inhale again. I let it out as quietly as I can and try to remain still. By the grace of God, or maybe because the woman isn't expecting someone to be hanging in the window, she never looks up, and a few minutes later she returns to the cafe. By this time, my appendages are starting to go numb, so I am immensely relieved when I hear Charlie's voice. "Piper, what the heck were you thinking?" "Shh, not so loud," I hiss, hoping she can hear me and the rest of the restaurant can't. "Just help me get down. You're going to have to pull my feet." "Okay, give me a second." I hear some grunts and grumbles as she climbs the dumpster as well, and then I feel her hands on my feet. She tugs, gently at first, and then a little harder when she realizes I'm not moving. Finally, I feel myself budge, and I try to help her by wiggling as well, but the motion must throw her balance off because while I do pop out of the window, it is more from the force of Charlie holding on to me while she falls onto the closed dumpster lid, and I fall beside her. Thank goodness the lids were closed, but I am still going to have some gnarly bruises in the next few days. "This is seriously not how my day was supposed to go," Charlie says, as she slides off the dumpster and rubs at her hip where she landed. "You better start talking, and this story better be amazing." As we head toward the apartment, I regale her with the events of my morning. "Wait." She holds up her hand and stops in the middle of the sidewalk. "Are you telling me that I left work and fell on a dumpster because you needed proof Ian was cheating on you?" "I had to be sure." The words sound ridiculous even to me, but they made so much sense earlier. "The man ghosted you, went into some woman's house, and then took her into a cafe, and you had to be sure? What were you looking for? A kiss? A marriage proposal?" "Ian was my first boyfriend, Charlie. I don't know how to navigate relationships." Charlie's expression softens. "Okay, I get that. Relationships are hard, and especially when you're new to them." My cell phone vibrates at that moment, and I pull it out to see a text from Ian. "It's from Ian. Do you think he saw us?" "Only one way to find out." Charlie folds her arms across her chest and quirks an eyebrow, clearly waiting for me to read the text. I take a deep breath and press my lips together before tapping the phone. My eyes quickly scan it, and then suddenly the words are swimming. Charlie grabs the phone and reads it aloud. "Piper, it's been fun, but you're a little too structured for me. I've met someone who wants to try new things, which is what I want too. I wish you the best. Ian." Charlie shakes her head. What a jerk. Who breaks up with someone by text after ignoring them for days? I shrug and wipe my eyes. How am I supposed to know? Ian is the first guy I've really dated. Therefore, he's the first one to break up with me. I have literally zero experience in this area, and evidently, I'm terrible at it. Charlie hands my phone back and squeezes my shoulder. "Hey, don't let Ian get to you. I know that's easier said than done, but maybe you should take that Patrick guy's advice and try that group meeting. It might be worth it if it helps with your confidence." "Do you think I'm too structured? I try new things sometimes, right?" Charlie chews on her bottom lip. "Look, Piper, I love you the way you are, and I don't think you should change for any man, but you are kind of stuck in your ways. We had to drag you to the resort with us at Christmas because you just wanted to work, remember?" "But I did go." "Yeah, you did, but if we'd let you, you would have stayed home to work and study. Wouldn't you?" She's right. I would have rather stayed home. And even though I had fun, I wouldn't have gone if they hadn't made me. I think about the dates Ian and I had over the last 2 months and realize they were similar. He would make suggestions, and I would turn them all down, suggesting something we'd done before, something I was comfortable doing. I hadn't really considered attending Patrick's group, but I'm reconsidering now. Do you think it could help me? Charlie shrugs. I think it's worth a try. Now, I gotta get in and shower and change clothes because I have to get back to work. But let me know if you need anything else. I nod. If only I knew what else I needed.